Hi everyone, welcome to Monday's TNT. Standing here on the foreshore just about 30 or 40 metres away from my front door, and we can see the foreshore covered in sand. We've had some, well, probably record high tides here. Certainly the locals that are around the area say they've never seen anything quite like this before. It was, of course, coupled with quite a large swell at the time. You put a few things together and you can get a phenomena like all the sand washing onto our foreshore area. More about that, and also, as we said last week, we've just touched the tip of the iceberg with the iCon group saga. It looks like it's nearly 5,000 people who have filed complaints. We'll talk about that later in the program as well. And as we mentioned, some of those really high tides, not just down this part of the world, but up near Bangkok as well. Let's go to the news. NationThailand.com reporting Samut Prakan roads flooded because of high tide. Where is Samut Prakan? Well, basically it's that area southeast of Bangkok, goes all the way down to the coast and includes where that blue cross is. That's Suvarnabhumi Airport. So officials say the high tide could continue for a few more days, so some roads may be underwater. That's under seawater, of course. So police saying that sections of the road looked like a canal and the water levels at certain spots were 80 to 90 centimetres deep. The traffic inspector said seawater rose very high, flooded the roads because there were strong winds coupled with the high tide. He added that flooding would occur again today if there were strong winds from the sea. So the issue isn't just strong winds or high tides or flooding coming down from the north of Thailand. It's when all those things combine that we really get a shit show in the capital. So now time for our first game today. We go to thephuketnews.com and we play the Where's the Headline game and see if you can find it in amongst that sea of stuff. Oh, there it is. A forest department doubles its take from visits. So it looks like the national parks around Thailand have had a very good year. A two-tier pricing and all. And the Department of National Parks, Wildlife and Plant Conservation say their incomes increased by almost 50% during this fiscal year. And the Hatnoparatara Muko PP in Krabi, that's basically the Phi Phi Islands National Park. There's an archipelago of some 5 islands. Well, it brought in the largest revenue of some 629 million baht, but the most popular park is Khao Yai in Nakhon Ratchasima, northeast of Bangkok. And the Director General of the Department of National Parks said they plan to open more tourist attractions to stimulate the economy, including new nature study trails, more botanical gardens and some wildlife sanctuaries. And he said the 133 national parks and 9 forest parks generated a total revenue of some 2.2 billion baht from October the 1st last year, well, for the last year, up from 1.4 billion baht the previous year. That's nearly a 50% increase. So, a few questions for you. Have you been to any of these national parks? I've got the funny feeling that most expats and tourists may have been to 1 or 2 national parks, but perhaps neglected some of the great gems here in Thailand. They're not very expensive to visit either, but that does lead to the other question, and that's two-tier pricing. I mean, the one up the road here, I think it's 20 baht for locals, 200 baht for foreigners. So what's your thought about the two-tier pricing? And tell us, if you have been to a national park, what was your experience? And while we're talking about national parks, referred to as the one making the most money for Thailand, this BBC documentary, titled Thailand Protecting Paradise. Nicely shot video, obviously done over the past couple of weeks, and it takes the reporter out to Maya Bay on Koh Phi Phi Lay, right in the middle of Phang Bay. It is part of Krabi technically, but most people visit there from Phuket. Certainly one of the most beautiful locations, well, maybe not only here in Thailand, but around the world. And it's become very popular. Back in 2000, when they made the film The Beach, it suddenly put this particular bay on the international spotlight. I'm not sure if you've been there. There was a time before they closed it down for 3 years where it was just invaded by up to 4,000 to 6,000 tourists each day. So, yeah, have you been to Maya Bay? I've put a link in the description if you'd like to check out more of that documentary. It's not a very long documentary, it only goes 7 or 8 minutes, but certainly well worth looking at. Okay, heading up to Chiang Mai now. And reported in Chiang Mai City Life in their city news section, rescue workers, government agencies and private citizens all stepping up to help flood victims. And according to the governor, rescue workers, government agencies as well as private citizens have all stepped in to help clean up damages resulting from recent floods, and supplies are plentiful so that all affected citizens are supported in their recovery efforts. So I was thinking the best we could all probably do is take a trip up north. There's obviously been a lot of work to clean up, certainly around Chiang Mai and Chiang Rai and some of the surrounding areas that have been heavily affected by those floods last month. So if you are heading to Thailand, maybe put in a bit of a side trip up north, and I'm sure they'd really appreciate seeing you for a quick visit. Right now, as we mentioned at the start of the program, the whole iCon Group scam story is just building, and I'm sure even what we report today is just the tip of the iceberg. NationThailand.com, more charges, including money laundering, expected in iCon Group case. And all these pretty young people, mostly actors, local celebrities, not probably looking quite as pretty as they languish in jail waiting for their day in court. And police are preparing to press additional serious charges, including money laundering, illegal lending and involvement in a criminal organisation. And the primary charge to be added is related to money laundering. In addition, other charges may be included, such as offences under the emergency decree on loans and minor charges, like involvement in a criminal organisation, as the accused were allegedly operating in a manner similar to organised crime. And the additional charges will be filed by investigators of the CIB, which will proceed to charge all suspects currently in custody. And the team will likely issue summonses on arrest warrants for the next group of suspects, which may include network leaders and some employees involved in signing legal documents. We go to ThaiPBSWorld.com, global reach of iCon Group scandal, and one lawyer says he represents 40 people who claim to have paid advances to the company but never received the products. And some of those complainants reside in China, Hong Kong, Macau, Italy, Germany, Canada, Estonia and Luxembourg. And he said they saw advertisements about the iCon business online and decided to engage with the firm after seeing numerous celebrities in the advertisements. Now, celebrity endorsement is as old as time, and that's why advertisers and companies like iCon decide to use these celebrity endorsements, and now they sort of get to be called influencers. But I'm just wondering if you are ever swayed by people influencing your decision. I mean, are there people who you would see endorsing a product and you'd say, yeah, I think I'll buy that. I trust them. It's a trust issue, isn't it? The Bangkok Post reporting crypto transfer tied to Thailand's iCon scam. And the AMLO is investigating the money trail of about 241 million USDT, which is a cryptocurrency called Tether, worth more than 8 billion baht, suspected to be linked with the fraud involving the iCon Group. We go to Thai PBS World again, the rise and fall of iCon Group, Thailand's e-commerce dream to pyramid nightmare. And whether it's Thailand's largest pyramid selling scheme or its most successful e-commerce business, the iCon Group has stirred a storm that extends far beyond the country's borders. And since the first alleged victims contacted police, more than 4,500 complaints have been lodged against the iCon Group, covering a combined loss. They've made a mistake here. It's actually 1.35 billion baht. And this represents only a small fraction of the company's network of over 360,000 sellers, thousands of them in neighbouring countries. It says the authorities have seized assets and the asset value falls far short of the estimated total damages of over 10 billion baht, although some analysts put that figure 10 times higher given the large number of alleged victims. We go to nationthailand.com. The driver of the iCon Group CEO hands over smartphone to police. And the driver of the arrested iCon Group CEO has handed over his employer's second smartphone to police, who will soon start a probe targeting politicians and others suspected of extorting money for the firm. I'm sure this is going to be rattling a lot of cages with a lot of big names involved. The driver said when he heard from news reports that police wanted the phone, he came in to hand it over to the CIB. Now, I'm assuming that phone's got a password, and I would have thought that without the password, it would be difficult to open. What may they suggest to the CEO to offer his password to the police so they can get into the phone? Will be an interesting little discussion. Okay, with that, hopefully you're a bit more up to date with some of the things happening around Thailand on this 21st of October. Thanks for tuning in. Please subscribe to the channel, and we'll see you tomorrow.